Welcome to Extra. I'm Joanne Hines.
And I'm Georgia Lash. Here at Extra, we bring you expanded coverage of recently broadcast features from Sun City TV.
It's March, which brings us St. Patrick's Day, Women's History Month, March Madness, Easter.
That's a lot. And we have a lot to bring you this month. Joanne, let's start with an event that's packed with talent.
Pinckney Hall was transformed into a gallery for the annual Creative Vision Show, and creative it was. Sun City artists, photographers, and glass crafters collaborate to interpret the art of each other's imagination. Our Sun City TV anchor, Norma Taylor, was at opening night. She caught the first reactions of the show.
I'm here with Jay Doran, who's the photographer, and Janet Urbanik, who is the artist here. And Jay, you first. How did you get this picture?
Well, I've been a Woodstock boy since the 60s, and growing up in New York and then taking up to Woodstock for some music friends, I just stayed in town a lot. Now, Grandpa Woodstock was an icon. He used to hang out in the center of town. Everyone knew him. He was the epitome of peace and love, and he always would flash the peace signs. So I always had my camera. So I said, come on, let me take some pictures, and he was fine with that. And we took this probably around 10 years ago, or maybe a little more. I'm not sure anymore, and that's it. Now I immortalized him.
You certainly did, and you did a great job. And Jan, how did you interpret this so well?
Well, he's such a colorful character, so I was trying to capture the essence of that era and introduce the nice psychedelic colors in the background to try to bring it to life. And he was a very easy picture to paint.
And how long did it take you to do this?
It took me about a month to do.
Wow, you're good. Both of you, congratulations. You did a great job. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
I'm here with Stan Holtz, the photographer, and Joanne Madison, the artist. And Stan, talk about the photography first. Tell us about this picture.
This was taken up in Charleston, Magnolia Plantation, and it was just a beautiful scene. The lighting was really dark. There was a man walking on a bridge by himself really slowly, and it was just a great photo op, so I had to take the picture. And then when my artist came to look at my pictures, my artist said, that's what I want to paint. So Joanne is responsible for that picture being here.
And Joanne, your interpretation, how did you come up with that wedding thing here?
Well, the week that I went to see Stan's photos, my granddaughter got engaged. So I said, I'm going to take the man out and I'm going to put a bride and groom in. And they're getting married in September, so I made it more fall looking than summer looking.
Very creative.
Thank you.
Well,
It's hard to do. It's harder to make a creation from a photograph than it is to duplicate it. I'll just tell you that.
Well, you both did a fantastic job. Good luck.
Thank you.
I'm here with Mary Jo Carlson, the photographer, and Bobby Forgas, who is the artist. So first you, Mary Jo, how did you come up with this beautiful lady,
Well, this is Charlotte. This happens to be my granddaughter. And it was just one evening sitting in the loft. I just took her picture. And then I spent some time with Bobby over here, and she just looked at all my pictures and picked one. It's that simple. So this is Charlotte, and Bobby can take it from there.
Okay. And Bobby, how did you interpret this? This is not easy.
Well,
I love what you did.
her granddaughter's name is Charlotte, of course, and I thought, oh, Charlotte's Web, that's what I'll do. I'll put her in a web. But Mary Jo had so many phenomenal photos, it was hard to choose one. But I just liked the lighting on this, and that's why I chose to do her granddaughter.
Well, I love your interpretation.
We kept Norma busy. She was back at the closing ceremony of the Creative Visions show, so we could get a look at some of this year's winners. Listen in as Norma gets the backstory of what was involved in some of the top creations of the show.
I'm here with Mary Levecki, who got first place at the Creative Vision Glass Crafters. Tell us about this masterpiece, Mary.
Well, yeah, I would say that this was painstakingly done with 114 hours worth of glass work.
Oh.
It was difficult, but I had the moral support of every one of those wonderful people in stained glass. And I would say, out of all the clubs that they have in Sun City, I'm at the best.
And how did you pick a train?
Well, the train picked me. Okay, so my wonderful photographer was passionate about trains. So he brought his portfolio, and there was a lot of train photos, and this one sang out to me. So when I said, let's see, a train, let's put the little Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote in there and call it The Great Escape, because that was one of my favorite cartoons.
Well, it worked. Mary, congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's a wonderful, wonderful exhibition that they had.
I'm here with Doug Scott. And Doug, congratulations. You are first place in the photography.
Yeah, big surprise to me, I'll tell you.
Tell us
I'm
about
very
this.
happy for that. The photograph is a picture of Nevada Northern number 81 right after it was returned to service after about 30 years of not being worked on and not being driven, ridden, and just as a museum piece when Kennecott Copper shut down in the late 50s. So I went on a photo charter, and we had this as our operating locomotive for 2 days, just doing photo shoots all over the part of northern Nevada that's considered the middle of nowhere. And it started to rain. We didn't stop taking pictures, and that's where this one came out of.
Well, obviously, you did a great job, Doug.
Well, I'm very happy that everybody enjoyed the picture and liked it.
Well, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
I'm here with Corky Bird, who's the photographer, and Teresa Brandt, who is the artist. And they won first place in pairings. Congratulations.
Oh boy, I'm delighted.
Talk about the painting. I know we already talked about this.
Yeah, well, I have to tell you, the painting is a piece of art, and the photograph was what I saw when I actually saw the boat sitting there, and the sun was going down, and I had to have that picture. I had to excuse myself from dinner while I was having dinner and just to photograph it. I'm glad I did, because there it sits in front of us, and I'm very proud of it.
Well, you did a great job, and it says a picture tells 1,000 words, and you did the painting, Teresa.
Yes, I did.
What a great job.
Thank you very much.
And how did you interpret that?
Well, I really wanted to interpret it in a way that really was very much like the painting. So I only made very subtle changes. Some changes to the boat, the shading on the boat so that it was a little more prominent. And some changes to the sky to give it a little more of a three-dimensional effect. And, that was it. I didn't really want to change it very much.
Well, it obviously worked. Congratulations to the two of you.
Thank you.
I'm here with Barb O'Neill, who won first place in the artist competition. Tell us about the beautiful painting.
It's called Dingy Dock, and the photo was from Rockport. She took the picture at Rockport, Massachusetts, and it was Kate Crawley who took the picture. And it spoke to me, and I took out a dinghy boat and added a person on an inner tube.
How long did it take you to do something like this?
I can't even tell you how many hours.
A lot of
hours, but I enjoyed it.
And how did you interpret the photograph?
Well, I mean, I wanted to do a little twist, and that's where the person on the floaty came in. So.
Well, you did a great job, and obviously a lot of people thought so, Barb, so congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Congratulations to all the artists and clubs involved in a very successful event. So nice to live among all these talented neighbors.
Now, our next story is all about a man whose talents have made a mark on an entire community. Joanne, give us the details.
Harry Williams, a beloved Sun City resident, is Hardyville's beloved current mayor. For 8 years now, his valiant efforts continue to elevate this burgeoning locale. SCTV reporter Chris Chase met with the mayor. Together, they highlight Hardyville's 2023 progress and the mayor's future plans. It's a privilege to present this entire conversation.
I've lived in Hardyville and absolutely loved it. One of the reasons I've loved it the most is, Harry, you and your council have done so many wonderful things for Hardyville. Now, last year, what would you say was your greatest accomplishment?
Well, one of the things we're really excited about, particularly as it pertains to Sun City, we have gone over the last number of years on a campaign to increase the services of emergency services to our aging population. You know, Hardyville's average age is 59.7. So what we've done, starting way back when, we added an AED machine in all our first responders' vehicles, including police.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And then what we did is started cross-training all our firefighters. First, everyone went to school, and every one of them now are EMTs. Now we're doing the same thing, making them all paramedics. So that increases the ability for all of us, all of our firefighters, to get to the scene first and give the medical attention it needs. The latest thing we did in 2023 that I'm really, really excited for everybody in this area, we added an ambulance of our own. Now, ambulance services are the responsibility of the county, but the county's had the same two ambulances forever. And in spite of all the population growth and the population growth in the elderly category, the same two ambulances existed. So what we did was we bought our own ambulance and put it in the middle of the city so that we can supplement the county service. So this is the first new ambulance in southern Jasper County and in Hardyville in years. And our team of paramedics man that ambulance, and we've already started that in November 29th, and since that time we've already used it 120 times.
Wow, that was a definite plus, and everyone in Sun City, I'm sure, is thrilled to hear about that.
It's a great thing for the whole area, but in particularly for our aging population.
Now, this is all wonderful for 2023. What do you got going for 2024?
We have a couple of challenges in 2024. First of all, our city manager of the past 8 years is retiring at the end of October. And so we're already in the process of hiring a search firm. So hiring a new city manager is a top priority for us for this year. Also, a big priority is to increase the areas of communication. More and more it is becoming difficult to communicate with our residents. There are restrictions, as we know, in Sun City and in Margaritaville and all the gated communities. How do we find new ways to communicate all the things that Hardyville has going on? And one of the things we're talking about is adding seminars. I've worked with Sun City, for example, and we can rent rooms and hold seminars about the city and what's going on.
That's an excellent idea.
So, and that's going to be more important as we get into the fall season. I'm not running for re-election. There's going to be a new mayor election in November. There are 2 council seats open in November. It's so important that the people understand who they're voting for, and we need outlets to communicate with them. So that's a big.
A seminar for that would be really helpful.
Some fun stuff. We're close to starting bids on a new Veterans Memorial Park. We have a beautiful layout, and it's going to be a great park that we're going to be able to honor not only our service veterans, but our first responders, our police and fire. So, and it will be a beautiful park.
And they all deserve it.
Yes, they do. And also it gives another area for all the citizens of Hardyville to come together and be part of one community, and not a fractured community of, Sun City, Margaritaville. one Hardyville, and that's always been one of my goals, to create a community pride in the city of Hardyville. That
I think you've really accomplished that to an nth degree.
Yeah. Well, it's really something we're continuing to try to find creative ways to do it, and because as you're going to see today, we have a tremendous message of what has changed in the last 8 years. So we want people to be proud of those changes.
Well, we're proud of you, and I'm sorry to say you're not going to be running again. Do you have any future plans on your own that you can share with us?
I don't know, and I'm scared to death, to be quite honest with you. I'm not a sit-at-home kind of person. I'm not a TV guy. My back will only allow me to play so much golf, and so one of the reasons I did declare early is so that people know I'm leaving, and I'm looking for a new avenue for myself. Being mayor, being part of the city of Hardyville was a tremendous accident for me. I fell into something that I had no intention of doing, and it's been a wonderful experience. I think the most rewarding professional job I've ever had. So I'm hoping that I'll have another accident in the next 12 months and I'll find something equally rewarding.
Well, you know I'm going to be back to find out what you're doing. And I really do feel sorry for the next mayor, though. He's got awful big shoes to fill.
Well, Beth's already, I think she's got cruises planned out to 2027 already. So it's given her something to do as well.
Well, thank you, Harry.
Thank you. And you've been great to the city of Hardyville during my term, and I thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
What a story.
I have a feeling that we'll see more of Harry Williams as a positive force in the community. But now it's time for our favorite part of the show, Extra Special. Georgia, this was a story I knew you were looking forward to.
Okay, I admit it. Since I moved here, I have followed local culinary celebrity Jesse Blanco on his TV show Eat It and Like It. I'm all about the food and the fun places to find it. Thanks to the efforts of our Bon Appetit Club, Jesse Blanco was right here in Sun City to share what's going on in the local food scene. I relished the chance to sit down with Jesse, who dished out lots of culinary news. We're going to be expecting a big crowd very soon for your presentation, Jesse, because so many of us follow you on your TV show, Eat It and Like It. But for all those new people, let's give them a chance to learn what goes on in that show and when and how they can find to view it.
Well, Eat It and Like It with Jesse Blanco is, as of 13 years ago now, my baby. It's a local show about the food scenes, both here in, I call it both sides of the Savannah River, Bluffton, Hilton Head, but Savannah, it's where I live, and it's where the majority of our content is created. But I travel around the South. I share, good eats that I've had in St. Augustine or Atlanta or wherever I go around the South. If I ate something that I think is worthy of sharing, I do. We talk about it. Sometimes I show you, whether it's photos or video. And it's kind of my own little version of Guy Fieri's show. Theirs is obviously far more polished, but ours is pretty darn good too. So
I think it's very polished because look at where we're working with here. Yeah. All right. Now, 2010, as you said, was the debut year of Eat It and Like It. Just a quick glimpse of what's the local food scene evolution been during that date?
Well, because of that evolution is why we're still sitting here, why I have the opportunity to sit here and chat with you and have written a book about Savannah's food scene. When we started all this, because I certainly don't do it alone, Savannah had good food, sure. Paula Deen was still the big headline in Savannah, and everybody would come to Savannah and say, okay, we're going to Paula's one night, where else should we go? That was the most asked question when we started all of this. And next thing you know, a few years later, the food scene has evolved. Savannah has started to grow. This area here, the beautiful side of the Savannah River where you all live, has grown. I mean, all you need to do is drive down 278 and see all the growth here, and the people that are moving here, and Margaritaville and everything that's happening here. Those people need to eat. And so the food scenes are bubbling up. Next thing you know, there's another shopping center with another few eateries. And so, we all know that this area is growing physically, but it's the quality of the food that is also growing, because it would be easy to throw up a bunch of chain restaurants, which certainly we have some, but there's also locally owned, passionate people putting out some good things too, and ultimately that keeps us in business.
Now, when we talk about evolution, your CV is evolving. You've added author, podcaster, event organizer. Let's start with the book, though.
Okay.
All right. Tell us what we're going to expect when we start opening up the chapters of Savannah Food Crawls.
Well, Savannah Food Crawls, published by Globe Pequot, and I say that off the top just to share the fact that it wasn't my idea. Savannah Food Crawls is one of a series of food crawl books nationwide that the publisher has produced to make food in these cities that have such abundance of places to eat walkable and enjoyable in crawl form, walkabouts I call them. We have 15 in the Savannah book, and if you've walked down Bull Street in Savannah, I tell you, okay, well, eat here, skip this place, eat there, here's what you should try when you go here. And I break it down into, pun very much intended, digestible little walkabouts that you could do 2 in a day, you could do 1 in a day, you could do 3 in a day, whatever it is that you have a tolerance for. And it makes it less intimidating. Savannah, downtown Savannah, if you don't know your way around, and I know people who have lived in Savannah for 10 years but don't come downtown all that much, still don't know their way around. There's maps, there's icons, there's websites. Everything is in this book. I think it's a fabulous, fabulous resource, not only for visitors to Savannah, but people who live in Savannah too, because it's all there. Where do we want to eat tonight? I don't know. Well, here's a book. Pick a place. One last thing to say about it is that the publisher, like I said, it was their idea. They prohibited me from including fine dining, because you don't walk about fine dining. You go and you eat your dinner and you go home. So they wanted it approachable. They wanted it a little more casual. And so some of the best restaurants in Savannah don't even get mentioned in the book because it's not a crawl.
Well, I've downloaded the book, and it's amazing, and it's intense. Now, I will say, we want to remind everyone that you'll be back here in December, because we are going to focus at Meet the Author, one of our Sun City TV shows, on Jesse's book. But if we want another food fix from you, we've got podcast now. Yeah. Tell us about that.
Well, I've been doing the podcast on and off for 2 or 3 years. I think we started it right before 2020. We all know how that went. We brought it back end of 22 into 23, and once we came back, I got a phone call out of the blue from the folks at the Plant Riverside JW Marriott. They have a big studio there, and they said, hey, we'd like to come down and introduce you to our studio manager and all that stuff. Next thing you know, I'm doing my podcast out of this multi-million-dollar facility on the banks of the Savannah River at Plant Riverside. And it's just a match made in heaven. The attention paid to the podcast continues to tick, tick, tick. Nothing happens, nothing explodes overnight or in a week or two. But you keep putting out, conversations that I'm having with people, and the traction is there. So we are excited about the future of that partnership with Plant Riverside. We're excited about what we're doing now. And, 2024 has got me bumping into walls. Ask my wife. I'm like a little boy these days with everything that's been happening lately. So good problem to have, I suppose.
I think it is. Now, I'm going to sort of talk about a problem that may not be a problem to you. I remember your last visit here. Yeah. I remember all the hands being raised. Yeah. Jesse, where do we get the best? Blah, fill in the blank. Where do we get the best? So you're like our culinary guiding star. Right. What are the positives and negatives to that?
Well, I only claim to be an expert in my own opinion. The negatives are, if I say this is what I think is Bluffton's best Italian, well, there's a lot of good Italian here. You may disagree. So-and-so may disagree. And so, you get snarked unnecessarily because, like I said, it's just my opinion. You ask me. Okay, you ask me, I'm going to tell you. So that's a negative. My waistline is a negative. I put on a bunch of pounds since I started all this. But no, as far as people wanting to know, everybody always wants to know my favorite restaurant. And if you eat out as much as I do, you don't crave restaurants so much as, you know what, I want to go have that burger. You know what, I haven't had that pizza in a minute. I haven't gone to see Bill at Rocky's New York Deli in Sandfly in a minute. I love those sandwiches. That's kind of how I guide myself. My wife will say, hey, we haven't been to so-and-so in a year. Let's go. And has it been a year? We were just... Oh, yeah, it has been a year, hasn't it? I mean, that happens to me because I'm eating all the time. Those are negatives. I miss my friends sometimes in the restaurant. Say, hey, we haven't seen you in a minute. Well, I'm producing a show all week. The last thing really that I want to do on Friday night is go out to dinner. Think about it. Give me a tuna sandwich and some Fritos and leave me alone with a bad movie or The Godfather or Scarface, and I'm good.
Now, I read this a long time ago, and you're going to have to clarify for me. I read that you never really give a negative review. Fake news, it's good. That's how you operate.
That is accurate. That is accurate, and we decided that early on for a number of reasons. The two biggest reasons. Number one, there are no shortage of opinions on the internet. Yelp, Urban Spoon, TripAdvisor. If the food is that bad, the market is going to speak about it. And I don't need to. It's bad for business. If I'm promoting these restaurants, why would I do that to someone who's trying to make it good? Number one. Number two, there's a lot of food that I don't like that people love. There is a lot of popular food that people will line up for that I won't go. I don't like it. So who am I to tell someone who was born and raised in this area, that place you all love so much? I think it's kind of gross. I've been a couple of times, and so I don't talk about it. Why would I do that? It's going to insult people. Well, that's what I like. Well, why don't you like it? Well, what does it matter if I don't like it? I hope you like it. That's all that matters here. So those are the two main reasons why we decided within a week, really, of starting this 14, 13 years ago, that we wouldn't say anything negative.
Well, you certainly open up a culinary world for us that maybe we didn't know about. I'm jotting things down from my downloaded book now. My husband's like, okay, how many places do we have to go? Yeah. Go to Savannah now. But thank you. If I get a little more greedy here, what upcoming plans or events that you might want to update us on?
Oh, boy. Before I go any further, I do want to say a huge, huge thank you to everybody here in the Sun City community. If you watch the show regularly, and I know a lot of you do, every once in a while I give you guys a shout out. Hey, it's out near Sun City or Okatee or whatever, and I try to, verbally wave to the people that I know support everything that we do, because if you guys don't go to these restaurants that I talk about or that advertise with me, then it all kind of implodes. I guess the biggest thing that I could share that is official, that we have signed, there's some big things we haven't signed yet, but the biggest thing that I will share here with you guys, breaking news, is that we are expanding, and we are going to create the first ever real, thorough dining guide for Pooler, Georgia. Pooler. We all know how big Pooler is becoming, how big it will be a year from now, and we decided that it needs a dining resource. Chains, which if you follow Eat It and Like It, we don't dabble in too many chains, but we're going to have the chains, we're going to have the local, we're going to have everything there is to eat and drink in Pooler on one website called poolereats.com.
Well, thank you for the time you've spent with us. We're looking forward to your presentation. Thanks, of course, to the Bon Appetit Club who made this all happen.
That's Extra for March. I'm Joanne Hines. Thank you for watching.
And I'm Georgia Lash. Please join us again next month as we bring you extra coverage of stories and features from Sun City TV. Now, you can always catch us on cable and on our YouTube station, where we invite you to subscribe for easy viewing.